everyone and welcome to the Learning Ladder. I thought I'd do a homeschool update. I think I said I'd do them ideally every 6 weeks. I think I'm slightly over that, but we're within that time parameter, so we're just going to say it's our next 6-week homeschool update. So in terms of how everything's been going, we finished our veterinary unit, which was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. She really enjoyed it. It was so fun. I really like the additional components we put to it with all the books that we picked. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave my morning cart video in the description box so you can see what books we added, because I put all of those onto my morning cart for our veterinary unit. It's just been so fantastic. We used campfire curriculums, veterinary unit study as well to go along with it, and that was great. I loved the little activities that they had. I love that they had different age bundles of journal within that package, so there was an adult one so I could do it too. It was really fun. Definitely recommend that campfire curriculum veterinary unit, and then I also really highly recommend the books I picked to go along with it, because they made the perfect mix to make that unit so fun. We have finished our human biology, so we were doing human biology unit from the Good and the Beautiful. I'd purchased it a couple of years ago, but we never got to it because I think at the time my daughter had switched interest into something else. So we finished it. It was a 10 lesson unit, so not one of their longer ones, but it was really good. We really enjoyed it. It's not my favourite in terms of ones that we've done from them before, but it was absolutely fine for what we wanted from it. We got a lot out of it, so I would recommend it too. My favourite so far is still the mammals unit from the Good and Beautiful, and nothing can beat that yet. That's my number one. I'd say human body was a good third in terms of comparison, a good third place. I've got plans to do our next unit, which is going to be marine biology, and I picked them again to do that. So we're going to do the marine biology unit, and then that'll probably take us to the end. We're also doing our usual dining on science, and we have been doing our nature study unit, and I've combined a lot of the dining on science units to go with our nature study because it made sense to do that cross curricular, obviously, and it's all science anyway, but well, it's not just science because I do add other components in like journaling and things like that. But we have got several dining on science units that really go well. So photosynthesis, there's planting seeds and all that kind of stuff. So they'll all go really well with our nature unit study. So that's science. Language arts, we've been using Beowulf Language Arts still. We still really love it. I would highly recommend it. I think it is a fantastic curriculum. It is teacher-led. It's not really... it's not one of these ones where you could just open the page and not even bother looking and give it to your child. You do need to get all your stuff ready, so you need to get all their sheets out and everything else. You need to pick the books that she's assigned that week to give to them and everything else. So there is more work required to it, but it's totally worth it. It's such a great thing. Great curriculum. I love that she's picked all these amazing books to go with it. We wrote our opinion essay recently on whether you wanted, there was 2 choices, a cat or a dog, so she wrote a fantastic opinion essay. Absolutely love it. There are so many creative things. The books that she picked to go along with the handwriting, which is also art too, are just so good, and I'll definitely talk about them more when we do our review, and I'll let you know which have been our standouts, because even if you're not doing Beowulf Language Arts, you might want to invest in some of these books because they are so good. So Language Arts is fantastic. I have made one change though, and it's a couple of different reasons, but basically we changed our maths and we went back to Saxon. So if you followed me for a while, you'll know that back over the summer I was debating whether or not to start with Saxon or to try something else, basically because we'd done Saxon K to 3, which was very teacher led, lots of manipulatives. Basically they gave you a lesson plan and then you just, well, I did it that way anyway. I just, did it myself and got all the manipulatives out, and we had so much fun. And yes, there was a worksheet and everything else, but the next level up, which was Saxon 5.4, was textbook. It wasn't teacher led at all, really. It's textbook, all the information's on the page, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. Because we'd always used Saxon, I did have a guess. You could say that is the grass greener somewhere else, that kind of, oh, it's the old trusty curriculum, should we try something else? So around that time, the Good and Beautiful revamped their maths curriculum, and there was 2 other curriculums that I was looking at as well. So I looked at Math EC, and I also looked at Maths for Living Education. So I looked at all 4 of them, and I decided just during the school holidays, actually, I think we're going to go with the Good and the Beautiful. So I printed it all out, and we tried a lesson of Saxon and a lesson of the Good and Beautiful, so my daughter could make the ultimate decision, and she really liked the Good and the Beautiful. So we started with that. So we've got halfway through The Good and the Beautiful, and it's still going really well. There's nothing bad about it or anything, but there was two things that I didn't particularly like. The first thing was the lessons were quite long, and it's fine in terms of, you know, we got everything we needed to get done. It wasn't causing a problem so much, but my daughter is very much language arts, science, that's her favourite things to do. And maths, she wants to just get it done. And, you know, to move on to something she really likes. That doesn't mean she can't do it. She can, it's just that it's not her favourite, which is obviously very normal. Maths is not my favourite. I can do it just fine, but I'm much more language arts orientated, science. I love those two subjects. My mum was very much maths orientated. She was so good at maths. Literally, you could ask her any question. It's like a living calculator. Ask her any question and she could tell you the answer. She was so good at maths. But you give her a story to write and she'd look at you like you're an alien. No, she absolutely hated it. So you know, just people are made differently. So my daughter could do it just fine, but the lessons were longer, and I think that's part of the whole why it's Good and Beautiful, because they like to add extra bits to it to make it good and beautiful, you know, rather than it just be a regular maths program. And that's fantastic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for someone who just wants to get to the questions, it adds time on. So, you know, once you've got through all the good and the beautiful stuff to actually get to the maths questions, it made the lessons longer. Yes, we were doing fine with it. It wasn't causing a problem, but, you know, it just prolonged maths. So that was the first thing I'd noticed. The second thing is that I watched a video from them recently, and I don't know whether they actually said specifically this was the case, but I got that distinct impression. So they said something along the lines of that they guaranteed they would do maths up to level grade 8. But they didn't say if they were going to do it after that. And that kind of worried me a little bit, because I don't want to be having to look for another maths curriculum in year 8, I mean, that's high school. I mean, yes, you might want to anyway, but I would rather not have to worry about that right now. You know, I'd rather just know that we like the curriculum we're currently working with, that we can go through with it till the end. Because with maths particularly, sometimes different curriculums teach different ways. My friend shared a video about it, Natasha from Educational Roots recently, well, a few months back. She shared a video about how Math UC teaches multiplication different than some of the other math curriculums. So there is differences, and I didn't want to have to think, oh wow, in high school we might have to switch maths. So that kind of put me off, because you know, although they didn't specifically say they weren't going to do it, I just got that distinct impression that it was likely a possibility. So I didn't want to have to deal with that. So basically I thought, you know what, we're just going to give Saxon a try again. So we did another couple of lessons with it, and she actually said to me that she prefers it. So we're going to go back to Saxon 5-4. Well, not that we go back to it, because, you know, we only tried one lesson at the beginning of the year, but she's been doing it now this is the 4th week, and she's been really happy with it. So she likes the fact that it's just gets to the point and you get what you need done, and then you can move on to something that you really want to do. So you know, it's got everything in it that it needs to. You know, it teaches you everything you need to know, but it does it in a very direct way, rather than all the extra stuff that The Good and the Beautiful added, which again, there was nothing bad about it. It was lovely, but you know, we can do without that and just deal with the maths that we need to get done, get straight to the point and be done, and move on to something that she really wants to do. So if you'd like to know more about how we're using it or anything else like that, how we're using Saxon now we're using it properly for our math curriculum, then definitely let me know. In terms of everything else, we went to Eureka, which was fantastic. That's a children's science museum, if you're not familiar. It's also got a lot of play involved to it, so they have different play areas where they have like a pretend bank, a pretend supermarket, and they have like a massive human body section where you get to see the digestion throughout. You get to do like they have special screens where you can see your body temperature, and it's just so interactive. It's so fun. We love it. So we went there. We hadn't been for ages because of, you know, everything being shut down, and when it wasn't, it was limited capacity, and you know, the whole saga. But it was fantastic. We loved it, and we're so happy to go back, and we will definitely be going back again soon. We also have our tickets booked to Cadbury World, which we're really excited to do. That's going to be coming up within the next week or so. And then the main thing that has been so amazing is we went back to our junior farmers, which was so good. We used to go pre-pandemic. We used to go, they have classes at several points throughout the year, and then they closed obviously during the lockdowns, and then when they did come back, it was really strictly socially distanced in terms of how many people they were allowed. And because it was super popular, we just could never get tickets. Don't get me wrong, we've been to the farm, but we just haven't attended the classes. And then now things have started to relax here in terms of the restrictions, and also I think people are starting to feel a little bit more confident. I don't know if I want to jinx myself by saying that, but I think businesses starting to feel a little bit more confident in allowing more people in. So they obviously have, and we managed to get tickets, and it was so fun. It was funny because the weather was absolutely horrendous in terms of there was a storm out, and we were sat under this polytunnel, but it was amazing. But it was funny because I was just stood there and we were pruning strawberries, and it suddenly occurred to me, I don't know why. I mean, I've been thinking about it on and off, but it's just the sort of the dawn of realization of, wow, we haven't been here for 2 years. I mean, to the class, we'd been to obviously all the other stuff. We hadn't been there for 2 years, and it was like, when was the last time we went? Well, we went in 2019, and when did we come? We were at the spring one. We didn't go to the Christmas one because it was the same program as they'd done previously, which we'd already attended, so we went somewhere else, and that was in the 2019. And then in the 2020, everything happened, and we hadn't gone back since to the actual class, and it was just, wow. It just kind of, you know, I don't know, it just feels like you lost a big chunk of time, if you see what I mean. I mean, don't get me wrong, we made the most of everything that we could do. So that's everything for this homeschool update, and I'll see you in our next video. If you've got any questions, leave them below, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.